October 8th, 2021, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and other moderates are increasingly frustrated with the White House and progressive Democrats over their reluctance to significantly cut the size and scope of their $3.5 trillion social spending package. Congressional reporter Harris Alec reports Manchin argues that liberals have been too ambitious in crafting the package, filling it with policies and programs that are out of the political mainstream. Progressives are refusing to even consider the idea. They argue that childcare and other social proposals are just as vital as reliable transportation systems for job creation. Democrats argue the $3.5 trillion package will be funded with massive tax cuts and doesn't need to be cut out of concerns for fiscal restraint. Staying on Capitol Hill, dual reports from the Senate Judiciary Committee have found that former President Trump made relentless efforts to try and get the Justice Department to change the results of the 2020 election, but the department's leaders said he did not pressure them into crossing any lines. Stephen Dinan reports the former president rejected the idea of firing Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, according to the testimony of key witnesses, though he did push the U.S. Attorney for Northern Georgia to quit days early. Then Acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donoghue, one of three witnesses in the committee's inquiry, testified that Trump did not change the way the department pursued its election investigations. Trump did keep close contact with the department in the weeks after the election, but Justice Department leaders talked him out of some of the more strenuous steps that he contemplated. Vaccines are the focus of the global fight against COVID-19, but a flurry of therapeutic breakthroughs and fights over limited supplies of antibody drugs are returning treatments back to the spotlight. Sen-Wu Tan and Tom Howe report Merck said this month it would ask the Food and Drug Administration to authorize a course of pills that cut the risk of hospitalization or death from COVID-19 in half in clinical trials. AstraZeneca also said it would seek emergency approval of a groundbreaking antibody drug that helps at-risk people avoid illness before they are exposed to the coronavirus. Federal officials say therapeutics are no substitute for vaccines, which are cheaper than pioneering drugs and decrease the likelihood of infection or disease in the first place. But treatments are still critical weapons against the virus that has upended the world and is likely to remain, as millions refuse the vaccines and some people fail to mount a robust immune response from the shots. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. On immigration, activists are targeting Vice President Kamala Harris as they battle to include a large amnesty for illegal immigrants into the Democrats' $3.5 trillion social spending plan, saying she has the power to make their dream a reality. Stephen Dinan reports advocates say the vice president, in her role as the presiding officer of the Senate, could override the Senate parliamentarians' decision that has prevented Democrats from adding amnesty to the package. Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough ruled that the provision did not meet the standard for budget reconciliation that will be used to pass the bill. Activists staged a protest outside the vice president's residence at the U.S. Naval Observatory this week, asking for a meeting to make their case, and demonstrations outside the White House and another in Los Angeles by activists happened on Thursday. And finally, a bipartisan push on Capitol Hill to force the White House to expel hundreds of Russian diplomats has backed President Biden into a corner. National Security Team leader Guy Taylor reports lawmakers are pressing Biden to retaliate diplomatically after Russia virtually banned the U.S. Embassy in Moscow from hiring Russian and third-country employees. The unusually aggressive step underscores how far relations between the Cold War adversaries have fallen. Some foreign policy specialists say the administration is unlikely to follow through with Congress's demand to kick out Russian diplomats from Washington. They argue the administration is beholden to Russia for counterterrorism operations and nuclear negotiations with Iran and on other fronts. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Just search Washington Times. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.